Good morning, and blessings of the Feast of Patrick upon you. I'm Steve Brown, and this is St. Patrick's Day 2021, St. Patrick's Day in the time of COVID. I trust our masters will allow us at least some time in the pub, though probably not a feast. But to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year, I would like to read you a couple of mid-lengthy poems, one of them being Kincora. Kincora was the palace of Brian Boru, who defeated the Danes on Good Friday at 1014 in the Battle of Clontarf. Not far from here, there's a town called Clontarf, by the way. This is by MacLeod, or attributed 11th century. Now, the fact is, the Battle of Clontarf was geopolitically a great deal more complicated than that. It wasn't just the Irish against the Danes, and where King Brian allegedly said, Ireland will be for ourselves alone, which in the Irish is Sinn Féin. The fact is that there were Danes and Irish on both sides. Brian was in his 70s at that time, did not take an active participation in the battle, but nonetheless was killed, as was prophesied. In Dublin, there was King Sictric Silkybeard, who was in fact sort of a stepson of Brian, and Brian's ex-wife, whose name was Gormlaith, who was, in spite of the name, said to be very, very beautiful. But a bit of a rhymes with which. There were two brothers, Manx Vikings, one of whom, after signs and portents, had converted to Christianity and joined Brian's side. So, as I said, it was a tad more complex than just driving one foreign invader out of Ireland. But MacLeod was the chief poet in Brian's court, and allegedly, years after the battle, he wrote this. And this is translated, I believe, by James Clarence Mangan from the original Irish. Kincora. From this. Kincora. Oh, where, Kincora, is Brian the Great? And where is the beauty that once was thine? Oh, where are the princes and nobles that sat at the feasts in thy halls and drank the red wine? Where, O Kincora? Oh, where, Kincora, are thy valorous lords? Oh, whither, thou hospitable, are they gone? Oh, where are the Dalcassians of the golden swords? And where are the warriors Brian led on? Where, O Kincora? And where is Morrow, the descendant of kings, the defeater of hundreds, the daringly brave, who set but slight store by jewels and rings, who swam down the torrent and laughed at its wave? Where, O Kincora? And where is Donogh, King Brian's worthy son? And where is Conning, the beautiful chief? And Cian and Cork, alas, they are gone. They have left me this night alone with my grief. Left me, Kincora. And where are the chiefs with whom Brian went forth, the ne'er-vanquished sons of Erin the brave, the great King of Connaught, renowned for his worth, and the hosts of Baskin from the western wave? Where, O Kincora? And where is Dublin of the swift-footed steeds? And where is Cian, who was son of Malloy? And where is King Lonergan, the fame of whose deeds in the red battlefield no time can destroy? Where, O Kincora? And where is that youth of majestic height, the faith-keeping prince of the Scots, even he, as wide as his fame and as great as his might, was tributary, O Kincora, to thee, O Kincora? They are gone, those heroes of royal birth, who plundered no churches and broke no trust. 'Tis weary for me to be living on earth, when they, O Kincora, lie low in the dust. Lo, O Kincora! O never again will princes appear to rival the Dalcassians of the cleaving swords. I can ne'er dream of meeting, afar or anear, in the east or the west, such heroes and lords. Never, Kincora. Oh, dear are the images my memory calls up of Brian, how he never would miss to give me at the banquet the first bright cup. Ah, why did he heap on me honour like this? Why, O Kincora? My name is MacLeague, and I live on the lake. Thither off to that palace whose beauty has fled, came Brian to ask, and I went for his sake. O my grief that I live, and Brian be dead. Dead, O Kincora. All right. In the among the Anglo-Saxons resorting to Ireland, there was one Prince Aldfridth, who was later king of the Northumbrian Saxons. His having been educated in Ireland about the year 684 is corroborated by the Venerable Bede in the Life of St. Cuthbert. While he was there, he took the name of Flan Fin. So, when he left to go assume his kingdom, he allegedly wrote this, attributed 12th century. So this is Aldfridth's Itinerary through Ireland. I found in Inishfail the fair, in Ireland while in exile there, women of worth, both grave and gay men, many clerics and many laymen. I travelled its fruitful provinces round, and in every one of the five I found, alike in church and in palace hall, abundant apparel and food for all. Gold and silver I found, and money, plenty of wheat and plenty of honey. I found God's people rich in pity, found many a feast and many a city. I also found in Armagh the splendid, meekness, wisdom, and prudence blended, fasting as Christ hath recommended, and noble counsellors untranscended. I found in each great church moreover, whether on island or on shore, piety, learning, fond affection, holy welcome, and kind protection. I found the good lay monks and brothers ever beseeching help for others, and in their keeping the holy word, pure as it came from Jesus the Lord. I found in Munster, unfettered of any, kings and queens and poets a many, poets well skilled in music and measure, prosperous doings, mirth, and pleasure. I found in Connaught the just redundance of riches milk in lavish abundance, hospitality, vigour, fame, in Cruachan's land of heroic name. I found in the country of Connaught the glorious, bravest heroes ever victorious, fair complexioned men and warlike, Ireland's lights, the high, the star-like. I found in Ulster, from hill to glen, hardy warriors, resolute men, beauty that bloomed when youth was gone, and strength transmitted from sire to son. I found in the noble district of Boyle, illegible, Brions, Aeronauts, weapons bright, and horsemen bold and sudden in flight. I found in Leinster the smooth and sleek, from Dublin to Slimargy's peak, flourishing pastures, valour, health, long-living worthies, commerce, wealth. I found besides in Ara to Gley, in the broad rich country of Ossory, sweet fruits, good laws for all and each, great chess players, men of truthful speech. I found in Meath's fair principality virtue, vigour, and hospitality, candour, joyous, bravery, purity, Ireland's bulwark and security. I found strict morals in age and youth, I found historians recording truth. These things I sing of in verse on smooth. I am Flan Fin, I have written sooth. Skipping ahead to the modern era, if 100 and change years ago is modern. Lady Gregory. Lady Gregory, of course, was active in the Abbey Theatre and the Gaelic Revival, although she wrote in English. And this is obviously meant to be set in a theater-type situation. The old woman remembers. There's an old woman sitting in the dark at a table, and with each verse, she lights another candle. So, what happened? Yeah. some of the reference here will not mean much to you if you don't know much about Irish history, but in the later verses, that quick quenched flame, his name a saints with saints to stand, refers to Kevin Barry, who was hanged in prison in 1921, I believe. And Terence is, who waned while moons grown old, is Terence McSweeney, Lord Mayor of Cork, who died on a hunger strike. Uh, Now, there's also a very clever bilingual pun here, which is goal and gal. The goal, of course, in a ball game. There's the image of a ball game here early on here, but the goal to the gal. The gal is meaning the foreigners, etymologically related to Gael. So, Lady Gregory, who lived from 1852 to 1932. So, an old woman is sitting in an almost dark room. She has placed 7 candlesticks on the table. At the end of the first verse, she lights a candle and puts it in the candlestick, and after that lights one from the candle last lighted. She sits by the table and speaks as if to herself. 750 of years are gone since Strongbow took the sway, put Ireland under grief and tears, a ball tossed here and there at play. When the white cities turned to flame, who lived to hear the masses said? Now on the beads I'll tell out names, and light a candle for the dead. When John mocked in his jibing youth, men had big names ere he was born, laid on hard burdens, breaking truth. Donald O'Brien blew the horn. It's Munster held the flail that day. The scattered scoffers ran for life. They found that no great year for play, 1185. Rebel and king, a Connaught lad, stood in the gap at Athenry, Phelim O'Connor, proud and glad, to shout the Connaught battle cry. But in the losing fight he went, the hard highway that rebels go, and so his score of years was spent, 500 and 600 years ago. When Art MacMurrough joined the rout and faced the King of England's sword, the cards were shuffled and showed out, the trumps upon the Leinster board. For Richard's credit came to naught, his fortune's fatness turned to lean, but Art MacMurrough reigned and fought till 1417. O'Neill took Ulster in his hand in 1551. He'd have no meddlers on his land. He kept their armies on the run, beat Sussex on the open plain. It's little, but the Gael were free. It was no man that put down Shane, but Scottish treachery and the sea. 500 blessings on your head, and blessings on the earth you trod. It's well you earned, the prayers are said. Sarsfield, that was a man with God. When king and broken treaty lied, you brought your wild geese through the sea, and out in foreign conquering died in 1693. With 65 years gone by, Tone and Lord Edward struck the ball. My grief, such hurlers had to die, and leave the gold to the Gaul. So each new age breaks each new hope, and so in 1803, another twisting of the rope set Robert Emmet's spirit free. In Easter week the wisp was lipped, wake Dublin from her drowsy years. I moan the battle anger yet, what did we ever gain by tears? The ballad singers long have cried the shining names of far away. Now let them rhyme with those who died with the 3 colors yesterday. And later yet, that quick quenched flame, thin rushlight in the dipper's hand, burnt out before his fullness came, his name a saint's with saints to stand. Or him the skillet and the mould had rounded right to nature's plan. Terence who waned while moons grown old thrice gazed on an unconquered man. This is our rosary of praise for some whose names are sung or said through 700 years of days, the silver beads upon the thread. When near the company of heaven the wondering shadow armies stand, the barren shadow weapons fall, the bitter battle anger cease. So may God give to them and all the blessings of his lasting peace. Happy St. Patrick's Day.